Put your head on before the camera turns on.
I'm probably going to burp and it's going to smell really bad.
Dude. James is burping.
Yeah, I took baking soda.
And
I took one. There were none left.
Okay, you ready?
I'm wetty.
So check this out. Engineers have built, this is a headline that I came across on Instagram. Engineers have built a headset that can record dreams during sleep and play them back. And the caption says, scientists have developed a headset that can record and replay dreams using AI and brain imaging, MRI. The device decodes brain activity during sleep to reconstruct dream visuals. While still in early stages, it opens up fascinating possibilities for neuroscience and dream research. What are your thoughts?
I am so excited.
Are you? I do not want this.
Why? Do you have dirty dreams?
Well, like, you know how sometimes you just have, like, dreams, like, that could be offensive to other people, or that are like, what the was I dreaming about? Or like, oh my God, I'm disgusted with myself. Why would I have that dream? I don't know why you're excited, because I personally know your girlfriend. She's going to be like, show me your dream, show me your dream, show me your dream, until finally you're like, okay, fine.
I mean, not that there's anything to hide in mine. She knows how dirty I am.
You've never had a dream that you would be
No.
embarrassed of?
I don't think I can't recall anything. Like, I mean, other than like growing up, like going to school naked or something like that. I think the only reason why I wouldn't want to see him is if it's a nightmare. Because I've had some pretty f***ed up, like, family members dying in accidents and shit like that. And like that stuff I would hate to see.
Yeah.
But like everything else, it's just kind of just wacky stuff.
I don't know. I just feel like whether dreams are spiritual, just subconscious, or whatever, like, even though it would be interesting to see, I don't know if they're meant to be relived.
Maybe they are, and we've just been conditioned to think that they're not.
No, because then wouldn't you be able to access that with your own psyche?
You could, and you...
Exactly. You could, if you can tap into that.
If you want to,
but
yeah.
maybe not everyone's meant to see that. Like,
That's
it just
true.
is such a, like, I don't know. I feel like dreams are just such an could possibly be just such an intimate thing.
Yeah. It'd be one thing for, you to see it for yourself. Like, that would probably be but not, like, to display it, obviously. That for like, embarrassing reasons.
It's like, okay, before I started this last stint of therapy, and I say stint on purpose, thought this would never go away, and I never thought about it as intrusive thoughts. I would have imagined conflicts in my head all the time, like, oh, and if this happened, I would do this, and if she said this to me, I would do this, and like just driving on the freeway, And my therapist had told me, like, some of that is ADHD, but a lot of that is intrusive thoughts, and it needs to stop because your body doesn't know the difference between imagined scenarios and what's really happened to you. So you're re-traumatizing yourself. You're putting yourself into fight or flight over and over. So, like, say you did have a dream where, like, things are, like, stressful or whatever, like, maybe you shouldn't relive that.
Does this validate the theory and the urban legend of if you in your dream that your body actually...
I don't know. Have you ever had a dream where you...
No.
I have had a dream where I got in the head. I remember my dad was in it with me, and we were at some kind of, like, order at the counter, like deli style. This was years ago. But when I got I remember thinking, like, oh no, I'm gonna die. But I woke up, like, right then.
Yeah.
I've only lucid dreamed a couple of times, like maybe twice in my whole life. But I always wish, like, I want to, like, go in for it, like go way into it. Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Define lucid though. Like, you wake up and it's like that was real.
No, lucid dream is when
you could control.
When you're in the dream and you know you're having a dream, so you could kind of like navigate. Dream bend and navigate and like, oh, this is fake, so I'm just gonna, like, for instance, one of the ones that I remember having was there was like some kind of like a serial after like a group of people, but we were in like your quintessential scary movie locker room, like, and I was hiding on top of the lockers, and then I realized it was a dream, so then I started stalking him and seeing where he was going and like playing with it. So oftentimes when like scary things happen in my dreams, I'm like, dang, I should have like played it out like a scary movie.
I spent a lot of time growing up with lucid dreaming though, like in that sense. Like I was able to realize that it is a dream, and I could kind of like persuade the myself into doing whatever I needed it to do.
Or when you like wake up and you want to continue that dream and you're able to tap back into it, that's the best.
Do you remember any embarrassing dreams? I remember one. It's like the weirdest. Like I remember telling my family when I was younger, like they were like, "What the f-?" In real life, I went with my mom and a couple of my sisters to the gas station like midday, and there was this like crazy tweaker person that was like doing a bunch of weird stuff, like kind of looking at us like super creepy in the window, like while we were sitting in the car. My mom like ran off, got what she needed to get, and she, came back. And later
and this is real life.
This is real life.
Okay.
So later on that night, I, when I went to bed, I dreamt about it. But in my dream, I was hanging out in my living room with my sisters, and we had a window that, that you could see under the porch, and you could see the door. And that guy,
you could see under the porch?
Onto the porch.
Oh.
And in the dream, we saw the guy walking down the street, and he like went up to our porch, and he was like banging on the window and the door, and all of my sisters ran, and I couldn't run because I looked down at my legs and they were chicken legs. But not only chicken legs, they were like mummified legs, so they were just bones, like chicken bone legs.
Okay, well, that's not like what I had in mind of embarrassing. I have had weird dreams. There's a dream that me up. I used to be plagued with nightmares as a kid for some reason. And my mom would say, it's because you need to pray before you go to bed. This is part of my religious trauma. And I would pray. And then probably from anxiety, I would have more bad dreams. And then I was like, oh no, why am I still having bad dreams after I prayed? This must mean I'm going to hell. But anyways, that's for another episode. But I had a dream that this old man came to our front yard carrying a bookshelf. And he had a cane, and he had a bookshelf, and there was a bunch of knickknacks on it, and he was selling it, and then his back fell off.
His back fell off.
And then his back fell off, and we had to put water in it and put it back on, and then his back kept falling off, and I went to my parents' room, like, can I sleep with you? I had a bad dream, and I was crying and stuff, and my mom's like, what happened? And I'm like, the old man's back fell off. So that's like one of the Sinai like crazy childhood
I love
remember that dream. But besides that, gosh, we should have thought about this for a minute and did our greatest hits.
Did you remember what it looked like his back falling off?
Yeah.
Can you describe that a little bit?
It was like as though, think if you could get the hood of a car and remove it, instead of lifting it, if you could remove it all, and then you could see the inside of the body. So it was literally like a shell.
like a turtle shell.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
And I remember him walking up with a cane and carrying like the bookshelf, just like it was nothing, like, but his back fell off. He was sickly enough for his back to fall off. Have you ever heard that any person you see in your dream, you know how like sometimes you'll make up people that you've actually seen them before because your mind doesn't have the ability to make up a face?
Yeah, I have heard that.
I don't like that.
It's kind of weird, huh?
It's weird, yeah.
Who says that? How do you know? Like who decided that? Like, and how can you validate that?
That's true. I don't know, maybe like somebody being like, okay, make up a face for me. And then like a sketch artist is drawing it and they're like, okay, this. And they're like, oh, I just made up my own dad or something, you know? Oh, yeah. But like embarrassing dreams are things like that I would not even say, like seeing people naked or having.
You mean wanting to see people naked?
Inappropriate activities with people that I shouldn't, and then I wake up and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I would never want someone to see this.
Yeah.
I looked this up one time because it was so gross, and it was like it said that means that something in your relationship with that person needs to be improved.
With the person that's naked in your dreams?
No, that you're doing it with. Like, say if you have like a doing it dream about somebody.
Yeah.
And you're like, why would I have that dream that like there's something in that relationship that needs attention?
Huh, that's interesting.
Also, though, my therapist would say it's not about what is in the dream, it's about how you feel in the dream. So, like, say, do you have any reoccurring dreams?
I've had reoccurring dreams, like certain like places, destinations.
Yes, I always have this dream about, and only when I'm stressed out. Now that I know myself a little bit better and have done a little bit more therapy, I know that when I'm stressed out, I have a dream about being in school, and it's either the end of the semester or it's the first day of school, and I can't find my schedule, and then I take forever trying to get back to the office to get it, or I didn't do any of the work, and I'm now realizing, like, oh shit, I've never been to third period this whole year, like, I'm fucked, my mom's gonna be pissed. That's, like, my anxiety dream, and my therapist would say that it's not about what the dream is, it's about how you feel in the dream. So for me, like, I'm not addressing my anxiety in my awake, and so your body has to release that somehow.
Wow.
And it's doing it in your dream.
So it's creating these scenarios for you to like deal with this shit.
Like, you ever wake up from those dreams and you're like, like anxiety attack, like you're not dealing with something.
Those dreams are crazy. I've had dreams where I've been like, somebody was like squeezing me just to get all of the oxygen out of my lungs. And it's like, you finally wake up and it's like,
you know what's another dream I have a lot? Is somebody pushing, and I feel it really hard into my belly button.
What the fuck?
And I hate for my belly button to be touched.
So does my girlfriend.
And, like, I'll have a dream and I'll wake up like, like, and I swear I feel it so, like.
What is the belly button thing?
Should we look it up?
What don't you like about it? Because I get mad that my girlfriend doesn't let me touch it. It's one of my favorite things.
I'm really ticklish, and there's just, like, such an ugly sensation of that being touched.
Fair enough.
Do you like it if people digging in your belly button?
I wish everybody did.
He wants to open a shop in his belly button.
I'm the most self-conscious person. There's no way anybody even knows that I have a belly button.
That too. Like, I also hate when, like, people, like, pinch my stomach or my longhas or... Okay. Lastly, before we for real get started, this is a story that's, at this point, over a year old, but we went to dinner right now, and James and I were talking about the breakdancing in the Olympics and how it got banned and how Australia fucked it up for the rest of the world, which is sad because, you know, America probably has the best breakdancers. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Asians dance as fuck too.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be in the Olympics anymore. And he was like, oh, why? And he had never seen, I think her name's like Laserbeam or no. So I'm going to show.
How does one ruin it?
Because she did such a bullshit job. You're going to know. You're going to know by the end of this. And I will, of course, add it to this podcast or to this episode. Okay, you ready?
She's the one currently dancing?
Nope.
Oh.
She wishes. There she goes. There she goes. What? This is Olympic level.
How did she get there?
Well, I just found out this week, because the reason I brought it up to you is somebody was talking about it in my chair. And apparently her husband or partner or something was on the national panel of whoever decides who's going for Australia. And she's also like a breakdance like professor or some shit.
Professor?
Okay, hold on, wait. Let me show you this one.
What the...
This is the one I meant to show you.
What the fuck is this?
Dude, look at it. This is Olympics. And they got banned from the whole thing because they're like, oh, it's not a sport, or I don't know what the reason was, but... Look at that. The kangaroo jump. What? Oh, I'm scared. No, I'm not. Is that not crazy?
What the fuck,
I could break
dude?
dance better than that.
Me too.
And I know because I had Shalto Adidas in 5th grade.
I had some. I had the gray ones.
Oh, I had pink stripes. Your mom bought them for you?
Yeah. They were gray with white stripes.
My grandma bought them for me, and you couldn't tell me shit. That was my first pair of name brand shoes.
I went to... Do you remember Peppers?
Yeah.
Randy, my oldest sister, She was like into like, going out and going to clubs and stuff. And that was when I like got into that was when breakdancing got popular again in the 90s. That was late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I feel like it was late 90s. Maybe 99 was the revival.
Yeah, and so she took me to Pepper's one time. It was this club in the City of Industry, and it was like, I felt so cool being there with like everybody.
It was like an all-ages club, right?
It was an all ages on like certain days or something like that. And I remember I was so nervous. I just stood around and did nothing.
But in your head, you were probably like thinking of what you would do if you did do something. Oh. All right. Well, now that we're all loosey-goosey and warmed up, now that the stencil's on, just kidding, I'm going to keep trying to make stuff like that happen.
What was the one that you said on the last one?
Let's do the highlights and then wrap this bitch up.
I like that.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tattoo Budcast, the only podcast that feels like a tattoo session.
Minus the tattoo.
I'm Sinai Garcia.
And I am Jimmy Jam.
I'm Mickey Mouse.
And I am Mickey. And I am Minnie Mouse.
You still sound like
I am Minnie Mouse.
That was good. You sound like Mickey for real.
I should work for Disney.
Wait. I don't know how Minnie talks. So she talks like this. A little more breathy.
That's good.
Yeah. Yes. Anyways, you might wonder why we're dressed like this.
I wonder why we're dressed like this. I wonder why our names are on our shirts.
Mickey Mouse Club, Mickey Mouse Club. Because we just went to fucking Disneyland. Ever heard of it?
And we got to stay at the Paradise. What was it called? Paradise Palace?
No.
Pixar Palace? Pixar Place?
Pixar Place. We kept calling it Pixar Palace.
Pixar Place Hotel.
You guys remember Goonies? This is Goonies. She was supposed to be here today, but
she's supposed to be right here.
But she really let her buds down.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Let's take a moment of silence.
Yeah, let's pour one out for Goonies. So every year, for the first couple years that our shop was in existence, we would take 1 or 2 shop trips and we would just have a grand ghetto ball. And
a sleepover.
Yeah, sleepover. We went to Vegas. We went to
Arrowhead.
We went to Big Bear. Anyways, we haven't done it in the last 2 years, I think, just because life will get you.
Yeah, life will get you.
But Goonies, shout out to our boy. We won't say his last name because we don't want him to get in trouble. But he works for the company, and she was able to trade a tattoo for a discount for our stay at Disneyland, and then we got signed in the next day. And if you're from Southern California, you never pay to get into Disneyland.
No way.
Especially if you're a tattooer.
Yeah, you know somebody.
So we stayed there, and it was so fucking fun.
We fucking needed this trip so bad, and we didn't even realize it.
Yeah, dude, we only stayed one night, and we were like bummed because we were like, dude, we should have did 2. But it was so fun. So the first night we stayed there, and then we went to the park the next night, and then we went home after that. But James did the bougiest thing, and he paid for an upgrade, and we got concierge service.
Yeah. Does anybody know what that is out there?
Anybody? Live studio audience?
I didn't think so.
And we're not going to tell you. Tell them what it is, bud.
So basically, you pay an upgrade fee, and I think that caused us to get a better room. Or like they moved our rooms because I don't know what it has to do with the rooms.
Even if it wasn't a move of the room, it was worth it.
It gives you access to this little lounge area where it's like their club area, and it's just a room.
Not like club.
No, it's like around the clock, like snacks, and they'll have like breakfast items, they'll have lunch items, and dinner items, and they'll have like refrigerators full of drinks that you could like load up your bags
snacks,
with.
For real, like food, like
for real.
If you're staying there, it is well worth it. I think it came out to $120 for 3 people.
Yeah.
They put out, like he said, breakfast items, and then they switch it over for lunch items. There's always soft drinks in there as well as beer and wine. They do a different kind of cuisine for dinner every night. And
there's, like I said, there's a refrigerator with like canned sodas and stuff and juices, and you could like straight up load up your backpack, take them into the park for the day. And, well, at this one, it was like a closed-off area. I've been to the one at the Disney Hotel, and that one is pretty cool because it overlooks the downtown area, and you get a perfect view of the fireworks show, and they sync the firework music in there, and they turn off the lights, so it's like you could have your snacks and watch the fireworks show.
So we did have a little bit of an experience like that. Our room overlooked California Adventure, which is the park next to Disneyland. That's also a Disney theme park. But they have this show called World of Color where they do like they do water fountains and they color them with laser lights, and then they also do projection.
And
you
fire.
can turn on and fireballs, mushroom clouds for real.
Yeah.
And you can sync your TV in the room so that the music is going with this. While we did mushrooms,
dude,
and we had the best time.
It was the coolest shit. Like I haven't laughed that hard in I don't know how long.
We laughed so fucking hard. James started getting an upset stomach because I forget what we had. We went to that.
A bunch of Italian food.
And so James was like desperate to go get Pepto-Bismol from the like store inside the hotel. And then once he left, me and Goonies realized like, oh my gosh, like he is frying so hard right now. He came back with his hat turned to the side, his bangs out, and he's like, do you know? I can't even do it. I wish Goonies was here. He was like laughing. He's all disheveled and laughing his ass off, and he's like, do you know how hard it is to pretend like you're not on mushrooms when you talk to other people? And he said that he was walking down the hall just smiling, and then he realized how crazy he probably looked to all the passersby. Literally, you almost died of laughter because you kept like touching your beard, and you're like, I feel like so overstimulated by my beard right now. I wish I could take it off just for tonight. And then I was like, I wish I could take off. I said, do you ever wish you could just like take off your arms and sleep just as a torso? Like, because sometimes I just don't know what to do with my arms. And this fool almost peed his fucking pants.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And then we watched a movie. The movie was Goonies' suggestion. It's a 90s movie that goes by the name of Clifford, starring Martin Short.
If you do one thing that I find weird, which is, like your middle name, see, you're doing it right now. Can you just act like a human boy for 1 minute here? Look at me like a person. You can't do it for more than a few seconds. Look at me like a human boy. Don't mess around with me.
Where he's this like little pest of a nephew to his uncle.
He's a grown-ass man and he plays a child, and it's disgusting.
It's pretty fucking gross.
The dad from Beethoven plays his uncle, who he drives literally crazy because he's such a menace. And
he's like, his lifelong dream is to go to this amusement park in California called Dinosaur World. And his uncle has like a lifetime pass there, and he finds out about it.
Because he's like an engineer there.
He does everything in his power to get his uncle to take him. And
so he's like sabotaging the uncle's life.
Yeah.
And the uncle's like trying to put on a facade that he's the best uncle because he's trying to impress a girlfriend, and it drives him literally insane. Anyways, it's disgusting. I couldn't even believe that movie was made in my lifetime. Like, I can't believe somebody funded that shit. So we watched that, and then we watched Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Which you had seen Three Amigos already.
I had seen it, yeah.
I know I've seen it before, but I like don't have any real recollection of it. But it was actually really funny. Except for it was a little racial.
It's a little racial, that's for sure.
Like, for some reason, all the white people are clean and all the Mexicans are so filthy dirty.
Yeah. Well, full disclosure, I haven't showered in like 3 days.
Oh, well, I guess it's pretty accurate. The night that we did the mushrooms, before that, we went to, as James was saying, to an Italian restaurant. And I remember going to that restaurant. It's a Nepalese place. And so they have Naples-style pizza. My family, when it opened, this was in the like 90s, maybe late 90s, early 2000s, we had never seen pizza like that. We had only seen delivery pizza, like I was telling James that I remember us going and just uncultured swine, like my family being like, ew, this pizza's so disgusting. Like, how come there's like no toppings on it? Why is the crust all baked hard? And ghetto ass.
But they have this lasagna there that's so fucking good. Sanai had the perfect description of it. It tastes like your mom is still at work. right?
Yeah. Oh, that was too what I said. The Maruchan, the Maruchan chips taste like. It tastes like your mom's still at work and your sister won't get off the phone. So you can't call your mom to bring you something. We also went on the new Splash Mountain, which that was really cool. We won't get into that too much because we know not all of you guys have been there. Because we know
And probably won't.
We recognize our privilege.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what you been up to? I know you just got back from Vegas.
I just got back from Vegas. I'm still like super tired.
That's how we start every one of these episodes.
Getting back and saying we're tired.
No, that you're tired.
I'm so tired.
You're always tired. You've been tired for a year now.
Yeah. This is the first time that I actually went and did Vegas, like a Vegas trip. I've never had. Steph, actually, from Hungry and Whittier, she was on one of our earlier episodes. Her and her husband were renewing their vows for their 10-year anniversary. And
congratulations.
Yeah, it was fun. She invited a bunch of her friends, and I ended up tattooing in their suite.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What'd you tattoo?
It was all like just Vegas themed, like cherries and slot machines and, just stuff like that. It was so fun. Like I hadn't had I don't think I've ever had a Vegas trip. Every time I've been there, it was
like
because
where you go to dinners and bars and clubs and shit.
Yeah, and it was like every other time I've been there, it's either like a convention or like playing shows or something like that. So it's like when I'm passing through. But this was a legit.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had so much fun.
Care to share any of it?
Yeah, it was kind of partly mine and my girlfriend's 3-year anniversary of being together. She ended up buying, the Punk Rock Museum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know that they do guided tours there, where they'll have like different like punk rock people like doing the tours themselves.
I think one of Joshua's old coworkers does it. One of the guys from Goldfinger.
Yeah, he does. Honestly, like I don't really give a shit about that. Like it doesn't like do anything for me. And like I had no interest until I saw that Laura Jane Grace from Against Me was doing one. So my girlfriend got tickets and we went, and it was actually fucking awesome.
So did you get to meet her?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Were you so excited?
I was like, yeah, it was fucking awesome. Like my favorite, one of my definitely top 2 or 3 favorite bands. After that, we had to rush to Caesar's Palace because they have, I guess, like the best buffet in the world.
You say that about all these places. Was it the best?
I personally don't really like buffets, but this one was fucking crazy. Massive. There was like hundreds of things to choose from. The one that got me, that I was like, holy shit, and I would have never guessed. Their menu, though, was probably one of my favorite bowls of menu that I've ever had.
Whoa, you're talking crazy now.
It was crazy.
Real quick, did you hear about that girl? It was in the news this week. So this girl on a cruise ship, she had some oysters. And then when she got home, she got some kind of like, it almost looked like shingles. Like it was like this blistery little patch of like rash.
Uh-huh.
And she went to the doctor, and it ended up being that she had like some kind of rare infection that you can only get from uncooked shellfish. And she died 8 days later.
What?
I'm sorry. She died 8 hours later.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. And so the doctor was saying he highly advises against eating any uncooked shellfish, especially if you have something that suppresses your immune system.
Whoa.
So like that's
So
like cancer,
uncooked-
pregnancy, autoimmune, things
So
like that.
That would be like oysters.
That raw
sucks.
shrimp.
I never really get down with raw shrimp. Do you?
I mean, is it raw shrimp on like
Aguachile?
sushi? No, that's cooked. I
No.
feel like that's cooked.
Sushi is cooked, like ebi.
Yeah, because it's pink,
It's already
huh?
pink. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've never had raw shrimp. The rawest shrimp I had is ceviche, but that's cooked.
That's cooked in a different way. I wonder if that still
But it still
cooks
turns
it.
pink.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. Now I'm scared of oysters.
There's that like soft shell crab that's raw. Have you had that?
Oh, they mentioned that too.
My girlfriend was like crazy about that shit when she first discovered, to the point where she was making it like every week.
I mean, it's cool, but I would rather have a real motherfucking crab.
Fuck yeah.
I'd rather have crabs.
I'd rather get crabs again.
Yeah. You quit vaping.
Oh yeah, I quit vaping. Oh wow. Okay. I'll say I definitely quit vaping. It's been It was Easter that I stopped because I remember my girlfriend was like,
Let's hear from the crowd. Okay.
Thanks. Because it was like Easter and I was like, we were on our way to her family's. I was being an asshole. Like, it's just in a bad mood. And she was like, I think you need to like get something like, or, because you're.
Let's hear from the crowd.
I was like, no, I'm fine.
You're ruining Jesus's resurrection day? Wow.
I made it about me. So I use those Zyn pouches that you keep in your mouth, and as I was using them,
right now?
No, I don't. As I was using them, I was
That's
realizing
a big ass lip for no reason.
Hey, that's fucked up. So I was using those to kind of wean myself off, and I was noticing that I didn't really need them at all. So I was like using like less every time, and then by the time this trip came, like, I don't know, we might have went to a strip club, all of us, and it was like a little overwhelming.
But just might have. Yeah. And what happened?
So I had some cigarettes. I had a couple of them yesterday, so it was like 2 days of smoking cigarettes.
You had some yesterday? What was for yesterday?
I was on our way home.
I still support your intention and commend you because I'm sure it's so hard to quit smoking. So James is surrounded by cigarettes everywhere he fucking goes.
Everywhere.
Because, except for the shop now, but that's only because I no longer smoke, or else you would be getting it here too.
Heck
but at least your girlfriend smokes, your family smokes, people in your band smoke.
Yep, but I haven't had a cigarette or anything nicotine today.
How do you feel?
I want something.
No Zyn pouch for you?
No, but I'm fine. Like it'll just be like a couple of days of just feeling a little like anxious, but fucking did it, dude. It was like a 3-year run of back on nicotine. Because before that, it was like 3 years.
So much better, dude.
There's still a little something in there, but it's going away.
Yeah, but it was bad. Like you would be like fucking Home Improvement. Okay, anything else on your list before we move on? I kind of want to get into one of these things.
What things?
On your notes, it says crowd mixing and girlfriend and friends.
That was a part of the whole Vegas thing. Like, me and my girlfriend have been together for 3 years, but she hadn't met this
But he keeps her in a, what is it? What's the nursery rhyme? He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well.
I don't know that one, but that's where I kept her.
It's not Peter Piper. Who is it?
I don't. It doesn't ring any bells for
put
me.
Her in a pumpkin. Sorry,
We've been
ahead.
together for 3 years, and she hadn't met any of them. So I was like, there's always that, like, I don't know. It's like not nervousness or anxiousness. I don't know what it is, but like crowd mixing. We've talked about it before.
Oh.
What? Let's hear it.
Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife, but couldn't keep her. Put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well.
Pumpkin eater?
Peter, pumpkin eater.
What does that even mean?
Well, I think his wife used to fucking run around on him, so he put her in a pumpkin shell. But I don't know. It's probably from like the Middle Ages.
So it was a little like, I wasn't stressed about it, but it was just one of those like awkward. I don't know. I think I know. Anxiety? Oh, well, I know you think you know.
You know, I always think I know.
I know you always think you know.
Do you want me to tell you what I think?
I want to know what you think.
I think you're so incredibly hard on yourself that you, instead of giving yourself the fucking grace, I'm going to talk to you very sternly because I need you to absorb this.
Okay.
Instead of giving yourself the fucking grace of, I change who I am because I understand social cues and I know I can't talk like this in front of one person and then talk like, obviously, you're not going to talk the same way in front of your buds as you are going to talk in front of your grandma.
Yeah.
But instead of James giving himself a pat on the back and being like, oh, thank God I'm not one of those people that's overly familiar and makes other people feel weird.
Yeah.
He beats himself up and he's like, am I being fake? Is this weird? Is this like, but I think like now you and Lisa have been together so long that she knows all sides of you. So I think that like, I hope that this was a lesson to you that like.
It sure was.
It's not like all these people love different sides of me, but they're all still me.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not changing. It's not like as soon as you go hang out with these people, you're putting on fucking bondage pants and a studded belt and a mohawk, you know? Oh, never mind. But, you know, like, you're still the same person.
Yeah. But, I mean, like you said, it was lesson learned because she got along with everybody so well. Like,
yeah, I knew that her and Steph would get along really well because they're both so cynical.
the ceremony was like a little bit more on the funny side. Look up Helvis, Las Vegas. This was the guy that was the ordained minister, and he was the most interesting person alive.
Oh, I've seen this guy.
Yeah, I think he's like European or something.
I didn't know that he was like I didn't know what he was.
Yeah, and it was like so funny and just kind of sassy, and he did all these things. And
dang, you guys are punkers. I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I've had the most fucked up neck for the last couple month, like the last month now. If you don't know, all tattooers have fucked up necks, fucked up backs, or fucked up sciatica.
Yeah.
Or fucked up wrists. And
fucked up morals.
Or fucked up morals. Or fucked up
on drugs.
Fucked up on drugs, yeah. Or fucked up what's STD panel screenings. So I've been plagued with a bad neck, and mine has been just so bad lately. And so, as I've told you before, I sleep fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I wear a bonnet. I wear a fucking eye mask. I wear headphones. Well, now something else has been added, and I now have an ergonomic neck pillow, and now I sleep. Well, I told you I was already trying to train myself to sleep on my back, so now it's real.
I feel so bad for Josh.
I know, dude. Poor thing. And you know what's so funny is my dad, when my mom wakes up, he calls her Wifenstein.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. And like I feel like I'm becoming Girlfriendstein. I like wake up. But anyways, yeah, dude, it's just been so fucked up, and I can't decide if it's like actually something that's going on or if it's maybe stress related, because I've also been pretty stressed out.
Yeah.
I've been having stress dreams again. What we were just talking about, I've been having the dream of being in school and there's something missing.
Do you know why?
I think it's because I haven't found a schedule that works with the podcast editing and just this, like, we get home. Yeah. We get home late on Mondays. I've really trained myself to go to sleep early. Another thing is I haven't been doing any stand-up at all. So, like my other passion, which is drawing, it's easy for that to feel like homework when it's part of your job.
Absolutely.
Now that there's production added to our funny with the podcast, it sometimes feels a little bit like homework, So I think it's just a matter of tapping into not just work in these things that I like to do, but also creating for myself, working out a better schedule, being healthier, which I really haven't. And then remember I was talking about meditating. That
you're guided with the...
Yeah, I haven't done it now in like probably since I got back from the Grand Canyon convention.
Yeah. And
I do notice that I do feel a lot different. Like I was telling Joshua when I was doing it, I was like, I think after I meditate at night, because I usually do it around 8:30, I was like, I'm not going to go on social media or anything again for the rest of the night. Like, I'm just going to be centered, read a book, watch a show, whatever. Like, I want to like remove myself from the world.
So you're neglecting a few things, like the whole stand-up outlet and...
I think I'm neglecting outlets, period. I have been working out more, but for me, working out is not an outlet.
Yeah.
It's a fucking obligation. I hate it. Yeah. There's been times where I've gotten into these fitness journeys and they do start feeling like an outlet. Well, with the whole like hiking thing you were doing, like where you're doing it so much that it feels like an outlet. You look forward to doing it. You feel like a fucking G when you finish it.
It's getting over that hump of it feeling like...
It's been a couple weeks. Yeah. It's been maybe 4 weeks and I still hate it. I'm dragging my feet to do it. Yeah. I do feel good sometimes after I do it, but it doesn't feel good in that, like, I feel good in myself or in my body. I feel just like, okay, it's something off the checklist. Now I can do something else, so
You're not into going on like walks or anything like that, huh?
I like hiking, but all the hiking trails around me burned down during fires. Once I get out of debt some more, I would like to like join a gym, like do a Pilates gym or maybe even like a cycling gym or something. Because when I was doing the group gym a few years ago when I first lost a few pounds, I really liked that because like even though you can show up whenever you want to whatever class you want, you start seeing the same people, and even when they're like, oh, where were you yesterday? Like that sense of accountability like really does something for me, which is probably something that's also not healthy, but...
You are pretty hard on yourself, though, right?
Oh, don't try to turn the fucking table.
Because you do a lot of shit, and
That's what Lisa tells me,
you complete
too.
so many fucking things, and I can't even do, like, a fraction of it. Like, because this is I wouldn't say it's technically stand-up, and I probably couldn't compare it, but, like, this is also an outlet for comedy.
But that's what I was saying, because now it's tied to productivity. We have to release an episode a week.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to, but to our standards, we do. We're also trying to release quality over quantity. So it's not like we're just putting out everything we record. There's a couple episodes that have ended up on the cutting room floor. Sometimes episodes been cut in half. It's taken out that outlet for me, or what felt like an outlet at the beginning.
Yeah.
Which I still am totally into the podcast, still totally love to do it. But there's just like an anonymity about the whole open mic thing. Nobody knows me in those circles. And even the people that I have gotten to know a little bit, like, they don't know shit about me. They don't know shit about my family or my friends. Like, you can literally say the most fucked up shit, your inner, your deepest, darkest secrets, like the dreams, how I was talking about, there's shit I wouldn't say on here. You could say it there.
And it's fine.
And you're just another face in the crowd.
The safe zone.
You're just somebody trying to work out another joke or whatever. And here, obviously, the internet lives forever, so you can't. I mean, it is an outlet.
Not the same thing.
Where I think we're more open than we thought we would be at the beginning of this.
Me too. I was going to bring that up. Like, I feel
we should talk about that, actually.
I definitely feel a lot more comfortable bringing up these embarrassing stories that I wouldn't fucking dare tell anybody.
I think
even in person, like personally.
I think it is pretty healing. And my therapist had told me that at the beginning of this, that it might be a healing exercise.
Yeah.
And there's things that I say on this podcast that I would have never fucking thought I'd say.
Yeah.
Even the word fuck.
Frick. Hell, I knew it. I think it's been great for us. I feel like I've personally have eased up on, because I definitely have a problem feeling embarrassed or like, I don't know what the word is, like insecure, I guess. But I've definitely relaxed a little bit. Like things that would normally embarrass me, it's just like, oh, whatever.
There's definitely a sense of control to like just owning your shit and being like, well, I shit my pants. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm one that's easily embarrassed, but I think the biggest hump to get over is like remembering or having to accept that my family is not my target demographic, and if they don't like it, they don't have to watch it. I
don't know if my family watches, but I'm at the point it's like if they do, that's cool. If not, it's probably for the better.
Well,
but for them.
I kind of had a feeling that this would happen. I think everyone started watching and then everyone's fallen off.
Yeah.
Which I think is normal, and I'm like you said too, I'm totally okay with. I don't think my boyfriend watches. Totally okay with that.
Yeah.
Which at first you're like, not sure if that should be something that you're like, why aren't you watching this thing I do? But I'm like, it's for the best.
Yeah. I don't know if my girlfriend watches, but she'll occasionally say something like, hey, you should have mentioned this when you guys were talking about this. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. But all of it is okay. We're doing this because we want to do this.
Who cares? And our family's not our target demographic.
Yeah. So fuck you.
Real quick, we won't spend too much time on this, but we did mushrooms at Disneyland. Yesterday I did mushrooms and I went to go see the Friendship movie, which I'm not going to get too much into because I know you haven't seen it.
I want to see it so bad.
But the mushrooms did not hit, and I did the same amount as I did when we went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I think maybe because it was the same strand and I had just done it like that.
Because that wasn't that long ago.
From what I've heard is that because it's food poisoning, your body kind of learns the
tolerance.
Cheat code. Yeah, the tolerance, how we're going to get through this the next time. And so if you do them back to back, it doesn't work the next time.
That's exactly what one of my cousins was telling me, who's this like nerds out on him. And he was just so like, funny. He was like, like that. You're probably better off just taking them all at once, because even within that session, like your body's immediately building to tolerance.
Like to protect itself. Your body's smart, you know? So I think that's what it was, because Joshua was fucking on the fucking moon yesterday. Yeah. And I felt bad because at some point it was like 11 o'clock. I'm like, I have to go to sleep. I got to shoot tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I was like, okay, well, I put on my all my gear, my sleep gear. And I was like, okay, well, here's the remote. Find something to watch. We took a Waymo car for the first time. Are you familiar with those?
Dude, I don't know what it is about this area by my house. It's closer to you too, I guess.
You guys have it too.
The Manchester exit from the 405. Every time I get off there, there's like 50 of them, and I'm surrounded by them, and it's the weirdest fucking thing.
So apparently they're only in central LA, part of South, and the West Side.
West Side, yeah.
And like the downtown area, so Central. If you guys don't know what they are, they're this car. They're completely driverless, and I'm not talking Tesla, like the driver doesn't have to drive. Like there's no driver in the car. It drives you completely by itself, and it's so weird, dude. It was like a Black Mirror episode, like intrusive thoughts. Like, what if this car just loses its fucking like mind right now and just starts like...
What do you say? Thank you when you get off?
That's what me and Joshua were saying too, because it tells you when you get in. Like, rest assured that we do tap into the video system from time to time to check on passengers. However, microphones are off unless you're talking to customer service. So feel free to sing your heart out. And we were like,
whoa.
Yeah, like it's like you know, when you're on a plane, how it tells you like emergency stuff at first.
Yeah.
I was like, bitch, I don't even listen to this shit on a fucking plane. You think I'm listening to this shit in a car? Like,
I've seen them in passing. You know, driving by, it's like, oh shit, that's one of those. But like getting off on that exit, like I said, I was surrounded by them, and I was like, it felt like a Black Mirror episode. I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because they'll like just gauge everything that's surrounding, and it's like the car almost has a personality.
So, you know, when you're the first car at an intersection and then there's a fire truck behind you or something, and you're never... Yeah, you're supposed to pull through the intersection, but you're never quite sure what to do. Like, there's always that moment of panic. Legally, I remember this from driver's ed, you're supposed to continue through the intersection, pull over as soon as you clear it, right?
Yeah.
Well, this car pulled to the right, hugged the curb, and let the fire truck pass, which at that time was probably a safer bet, even though it wasn't the, like, right thing to do. But I was telling Joshua, like, it was just such a pragmatic decision that I was the car behind it, and I was watching this, or I was behind it to the other side of it, and I was like watching it like, what the fuck? I was still figuring out like, oh, I gotta get out of the way of this ambulance. And then it did before me and let it through. He's stuck on this thing. He's like, dude, there's probably some person like in like, you know, there's like all those like customer service branches abroad, like in whatever, fill in the country here. He's like, that's just driving it like a fucking like with a joystick. Yeah.
That could very well be a thing.
I mean, I'm sure they have to be able to tap into it at some point if something goes wrong.
Because they've been talking about doing even those like Amazon deliveries by like drone. Have you seen those?
No, but by my house, I don't know if they have them by your house yet. Me and James both live in LA City, but there's these little, they look like almost like, think of an R2-D2 meets a cooler that drive your food around, and they're just like little robots that drive to the front door.
Have you had it delivered to you?
No, I haven't, but the last time I got Uber Eats, it had offered one of those. It said, if you use a robot, you don't have to tip a driver, and like I think it said like it was this much less, but I was like, you know how sometimes it's hard enough to flag down a driver. I'm like, I don't think I want to fucking be trying to find a robot. One time I saw one, and I think it was in Santa Monica, knocked over like somebody,
of course,
like somebody had robbed it, like of the food.
But that's why we can't have anything nice, dude.
Yeah. Are you a self-checkout person?
I would rather go to somebody at a register.
Why? You like the banter?
I love the banter. Even if it's just as little as a hello.
I was talking to Joshua about this. I go to the same, I'm afraid they're going to watch this. Yeah. I go to the same CVS for my medication every month. And it's to the point where now the pharmacy tech like knows me, like says hello and like, you know, calls me Mija, and she's very nice. There's literally nothing wrong with this interaction, but I feel like I need to switch pharmacies now. And like anytime I become a regular somewhere, I feel like
pressure.
It makes me uncomfortable, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's just because
obligation.
If my dad says you and my dad now, I guess, say that I always try to think of like why people are doing stuff, or so my whole thing is like, why do I feel this way? And I'm like, is it because I'm avoidant and this is just too much friendship for me? I don't know.
Yeah. Because
like what's wrong with this person once a month asking how I'm doing?
That just reminded me when you said that. I did that Viva Las Vegas convention, and there's a lot of people from LA that I know that attend it, and like going into it, it was like, oh, cool. Maybe I might run into some people when I go out for whatever to the restroom. And I found myself avoiding everybody. Like I would see the people that I was like talking about in my head and like, oh, I'll catch it. And then it was just like, I don't want to do that I don't know why. I couldn't figure it out. And I was just finding myself like taking the route that was like away from everybody. And I was just like, I kind of just don't want that right now.
Sorry to bring up my therapist again. I know I sound like a fucking crazy person. I don't know where I had to go that I was like apprehensive about or like kind of just like not feeling it. And she had told me to take out whatever I think that people are expecting from me. Yeah. Put it out the fucking window. So maybe it's that. Maybe I'm like, oh, they're expecting me to engage them back and to be funny and like.
I think that might be what it is too.
Yeah.
Because I've felt that firsthand, like where people like wait for the next thing I'm gonna
say something funny.
Yeah. What else is he gonna say? I think I'm losing my touch, or just like losing the will.
Or we're just getting jaded.
And it's like I don't really need that attention.
Like, bitch, I'm tired. Give me my antidepressants and Adderall so I could go be hopped up and slowed down like Judy Garland and go the fuck to bed. Like, damn.
Like, have you noticed that there's like certain crowds where you could like just fucking kill it in? Like certain people where it's just like I could say literally anything and it makes them laugh and then it makes you even funnier in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm like that. I'm good in a crowd. I feel like when it's you and I and dude, a cashier hates to see me and James coming because guess who's gonna fucking laugh themselves right out of a job? Like I know it, dude. Don't let me and James in a post office together because we're gonna turn that bitch all the way up.
I was laughing about the time, dude. One time we had to send some products out, like merch or whatever, and we would go there all the time, and it was just always the funniest thing for some fucking reason. And there was one time we were talking about farts, and we had our backs to the line, and we forgot that there was like a room full of people, and she was like, I heard that like what is it, deaf people?
Yeah.
Deaf people don't know that they fart. And I was like fucking dying, and then I realized there was like 30 people in there in silence listening to us have this conversation about deaf people not knowing that they fart.
Wait, hold on. Before people get mad at me, Moshe Kasher, the comedian, has a deaf mother, and he said they don't really grasp the concept of a full fart because they don't understand the concept, or those that were born deaf don't understand the concept of sound, right? And so I was listening to this his old podcast, and then his co-host Neil Brennan goes, well, do they not understand the concept of smell? Like, I guess deaf people are notorious for farting in public, and so we're fucking busting up forgetting there's a whole room of people behind us.
But do they feel well, they have to.
Do they feel them cheeks clap?
The rumble?
Yeah, they have to feel the vibration, though. And then...
So then they can't understand the concept of a queef.
And then it's not common.
That's like one of those, like, the mind-blowing emojis.
Well, a whoopee cushion would never be funny.
No way.
A squeaky chair would never be funny. Hand me those chips right there. Let's try those.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see if we fart. So a client gave these to me. They're zombie Takis. I'm not really a Takis girl. I don't hate them, but
you're really into zombies.
But I am. Yeah, I'm a zombie. I'm a horror girl. Habanero cucumber.
Oh, that's interesting.
I do love cucumber anything.
I can't wait to get heartburn again.
Oh my gosh. Dude, America is crazy. Look at the dye in this. Yellow 5, blue 1, yellow 5. This is not probably good for our ADHD.
Heck no.
These are fucking bomb. You like
that
them?
Is crazy.
They taste so refreshing. They're not habanero hot, but I bet if you had a couple of them, they easily could be. You like them?
I like them.
You want to try these, Jake? Soft ass fool. So for the tattoo segment today, I wanted to talk about tattoo myths busted on.
All right.
Busted
let's get our myth
busted. Yeah, we're going to get our myth. Well, remember that show?
I loved that show so
What's
fucking much.
one that you remember from that Do you remember any myths that got busted or?
The one that I remember the most is the girl that worked in, like the hot girl. And the myth was girls don't fart.
Oh my gosh.
So they had her walk around with a microphone in her back pocket.
She
they
farted?
fart. They definitely fart.
Anyways, so tattoo myths.
Yeah.
We hear so many fucking myths from so many clients that are like,
Theories.
I heard, yeah.
And they heard it from their sister-in-law's baby cousin Tracy. And it's like, Tracy don't even got tattoos, you know what I'm saying?
Or from their fucking boyfriend who has some stupid scratcher fucking garage tattoo and is like, I'll tell you this, anafu. You know what I heard is that white and yellow hurt the most.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. And we could say, myth busted. Here's my theory.
Yeah.
And I know it's his
Based
theory.
upon experience, because we're fucking artists in the game 15 plus years.
And don't be in the comments being like, oh, well, I did get yellow and it hurt more. No. The reason why yellow and white you think hurt the most is because the lighter colors are typically put in last.
Yep. You've gone through the entire tattoo. You're raw. All of your endorphins have fucking decided to bail on you, and it just fucking hurts. It's the last stretch. Your body knows that you're almost done, so you're already checked out mentally.
Yeah.
So everything just fucking hurts more.
Even the wiping at that point hurts when you're getting something big. So get the fuck
it's
out of
not
here
because
with
it's white. It's not because it's yellow. It's because it's the last step in the tattoo, and you're going over areas of the tattoo that you've gone over multiple times already.
Especially with white, you're adding it to an area that already has color or already has shading, so that spot's already inflamed. Now the next one, which this one actually bothers me because this girl was saying this in my chair one time. She was saying dark people can't get color tattoos because her fiance is Mexican, but she was like, and you know, he's always so jealous of me because I have such vibrant colors, and I always tell him, well, you can't get color tattoos because it just won't work on your skin.
Yeah.
And to that, I also say wrong. Just because a color looks different on someone with a deeper skin tone doesn't mean it looks bad.
Yeah.
There's also people that know color theory very well and can get super vibrant colors on darker skin.
Yeah, it's just got to be done a certain way.
This is what I also tell clients is get the tattoo that you want, because tattooing was also made by a lot of indigenous cultures that have indigenous darker skin tones, and just because red looks different on this person than it does on you doesn't mean
you can't get it.
Yeah, you get what you fucking want. Yeah,
and it's like, far as like the full color, like I said, it has to be done a certain way. There's got to be maybe a little bit more contrast, a little bit more open skin.
Skin breaks.
Exactly, skin breaks. A lot of things can be done, and don't ever let an artist or anybody make you feel bad for wanting one, because it is possible.
And there's also nothing wrong with getting a second opinion or feeling more comfortable going to an artist of color if you are somebody that is, if you're a person of color. Sure, people might try to bring up reverse racism, but like if you're a black person and you feel more comfortable going to a black tattooer because they probably have a more black clientele, that's completely fine. Like, do not get bullied into getting anything you're not comfortable with. And also, just to cover skin breaks are something like, we'll zoom in on my wrist here. The skin part of this tattoo acts as the highlight. And so that's what's going to trick your eye to make things look 3D. So no matter what color your skin tone, if your skin break acts as the highlight, it's going to trick your eye into giving your tattoo dimension.
It's an illusion in some regard. Oh, here's another one. You can't tattoo over scars or stretch marks. Definitely wrong. I have tattooed over a lot of scars or stretch marks.
And I have a lot of stretch marks.
And I am a stretch mark. And I am a skid mark. And I have skid marks.
If we're telling truths.
I thought we were just talking about different kinds of marks.
He's a mark-ass bitch.
Now, the skin will definitely, in those areas, stretch marks are scars. They definitely get inflamed, and they can become a little difficult to tattoo.
Sometimes
enlarge.
your stretch mark flips inside out, so it looks like it's protruding.
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah, exactly. It
When
will be
it's
inside out.
irritated, yeah.
It's just a matter of knowing how to do it, and it's a matter of going to the artist that has the experience to do it. And it's like,
oh, and it's a matter of that scar being old enough.
the artist that taught me, he was saying that scar tissue shifts for up to 5 years. So, for example, if you have a scar that is a year old, you draw a line over it, and by the 5th year, there's a good chance that that line will not be where it was when you placed it.
Meaning it could get wider, it could fall out, it could get squiggly.
It could spin, it could, do all these different things. So if you're like past the 5-year mark, it's safe to say that you would be okay to get tattooed over it.
And of course, there's exceptions to every rule. Like, there might be somebody that got their tummy tuck scar covered, a year later and everything worked out fine. But if you're that concerned and you want to err on the side of caution, maybe giving it those years to completely heal is a good idea. For instance, I have a scar on my knee that I split my knee open climbing on the little rafter of my garage when I was younger. And it was a keloid for years. Now that I'm an adult, you could barely see it. So I do believe that it shifts,
Yeah.
like your body ingests it. There's also things you can do, like the paramedical tattooing that we've kind of covered before. That it's called like scar relaxation, where they essentially tattoo, I believe, over keloided scars, and it makes your body re-heal the area, smooth out the scars. So a lot of people with self-harm scars or whatever will get that done to a few sessions to relax the scar further and then eventually tattoo over it.
Even to stretch marks, you can do that, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I think that's what we were talking about.
I want to get that shit done.
If you guys remember Jill on one of our past episodes, at her studio, her business partner Quentin does that. So if you're looking for someone, they're somewhere in Long Beach or Lakewood. Or next, let's see. Tattoo ink should stay the same color forever. Unfortunately,
I mean, I would love for it to stay the same color forever.
Okay,
it's just not feasible.
It will stay. If done well, it's going to stay pretty damn close.
Yeah, but you have to expect for it to dull out a little bit.
Aging is part of the...
Aging, and then ink itself is transparent. So it's like, depends on, the tone underneath. And it's, like I said, it's a matter of applying it properly with the right contrast, even color contrast. Like, for example, purples. That one's a little bit trickier of a color for it to remain looking purple.
Right.
Without being muddied out. So we have personally found, I don't know if this is going to be against our gatekeeping theory, but like if you're using multiple colors of purple, that is the best way to get it to stay looking purple. Like, so you're using contrast. So it's like a light purple, medium, very vibrant, and then a super dark purple. And I feel like it kind of tricks the eye into making it seem so much more vibrant than it would be selecting one of those purples.
Or what I will do too with warmer skin tones is I will take my purple and just real quick dip it, run it once into my magenta.
Yeah.
Let that run on my needle for a second so it mixes it up, and then use that. And even though it is now, a little mixed with magenta, it warmed it up just that much for that skin tone, so it kind of, as they say on Ink Master, pops a little bit.
But over time, colors do break down.
I have a little purple splash on a tattoo on my arm, and in the summer, that shit don't look purple. It looks gray, like when I get tanned, and then in the winter, it looks purple. So
yeah, and on me, it's always the yellow that seems to go away. But because of that, that's made me select a different type of yellow. When I personally like to tattoo yellow, it's a little bit more on the orange side.
Yeah, like a golden.
And I feel like it gives it more longevity. When it's more of like a true yellow, I feel like it's as good as gone within the year. Drinking alcohol makes you bleed when getting a tattoo. Now, I am going to say that it, in theory, thins out your blood, but I know a lot of artists and shops are going to hate this, but I personally have never had anybody bleed excessively to the point where I cannot tattoo them.
And in theory, ibuprofen would do the same thing.
Exactly. And people take that shit anyway.
maybe there's been people that I'm like, oh, you're bleeding a lot. And they're like, oh, I drank yesterday. And then it's just like, okay, that's the end. But I've never had where you, like how you said, where it gets completely interfered with the process.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really, when they're drinking while getting a tattoo, like it's not thinning out your blood that quickly. It's usually from the day before or weekend before, like a bender.
Yeah, or being an alcoholic.
Now, still don't show up drunk to your appointment or drink just because it doesn't make you bleed, because it does make you fucking annoying.
Yeah, and that is worse than having a tattoo that bleeds.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how I was taught. It's partly true because, alcohol does thin your blood, but the important part is just not making it a space where people can get fucked up, show up, be obnoxious, because what comes with drinking when getting tattooed is having to pee every 5 minutes, having to fucking insert yourself into every conversation, which isn't a bad thing, but it's like...
it turns you into a one-upper.
Yeah, and it's like you're doing all these like shifty moves.
Yeah. It makes you
Checking
so
your
much less
phone.
self-aware.
Yeah.
Your movements, maybe you would normally reach for your water bottle like this.
Yeah.
But when you're drunk, you're like...
Yeah, and you can become a nuisance, obnoxious, and that will make it hard for your tattoo artist to stay focused, for the other artists in the shop to stay focused. Just don't be a dick. Don't get drunk when you get tattooed.
It also puts your artist in this situation of deciding whether it's ethical or not to tattoo you drunk.
Exactly.
Because really, it's kind of not okay to let somebody who's wasted make a permanent decision.
These days, the only people that I allow to have some drinks while I'm tattooing is somebody that I know personally and has been a friend for a long time. And even then, the reason why is because I'm quick to tell them, like, hey, you need to fucking chill the fuck out.
And I still expect them to ask me every time. Like, just because I let you have a beer last time, don't come in next time with the case of beers. Like, please ask if it's okay, because I may have somebody in the shop that you can't drink in front of.
Yeah.
Or somebody that's, I don't want them drinking, so I don't want them thinking shit's fucking cool when it's not.
Yeah.
Getting tattooed over bone hurts more than anywhere else. Unfortunately, I don't think it can be simplified that much.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Okay, for instance, I hear so many people be like, I'm afraid to get my inner arm tattooed because it hurts so much, or my friend said it hurts so much, or I'm afraid it's going to hurt so much, where I don't think my inner arm was that bad.
Yeah.
Like this, this thin skin. Or like people are like, oh my God, I'm so afraid to get my shin, or when I got my shin, it was the worst. I think my shin was one of the easiest places to get tattooed. They may not be exaggerating. They might be...
It's subjective.
Dead honest. Yes, it totally depends on the person. Yeah. So I don't think like bone necessarily hurts the worst. I don't think fat necessarily hurts the worst. I think it depends on everybody's...
I hear that a lot, and it's like, a lot of clients are kind of misinformed where it's like, oh, well, I have a lot of fat here, so it's probably not going to hurt. I have a lot of meat, and it's like, no. Like, look at your elbow. Like, you could fucking pinch the skin. You could twist it as hard as you want. Doesn't fucking hurt. But getting it tattooed is a different fucking story.
Right.
And my theory, or what I've at least learned or have noticed, and I think we could all agree, that anywhere on the body that is near a joint, for some reason, hurts a little bit more. Maybe it's where nerve endings fall a little bit more sensitive. So, like, around the wrist sucks. Around the elbow sucks. The armpit,
I have a theory
shoulder.
on that.
What is that?
Okay, so my theory is that the reason that is just like if you roll your ankle, it swells. And I think it's your body's, and this is not founded on anything. I think it's your body's way of trying to stabilize that joint. Oh, it's hurt. We got to make it so it doesn't move. Like a little cast, if you will.
Yeah.
So that way you're not going to fuck it up any further than it already is. We have to make you extra conscious of this. So getting a tattoo around there, it's like something's happening to this joint.
Yeah.
Because just like how the next day after you get your ankle tattooed, it's swollen as fuck, where you can get, somewhere else
Center of
tattooed.
your arm
And you're like you maybe feel a sunburn feeling. You know?
That makes sense.
I have always had this theory that I thought I totally made up, just because I'm really ticklish. So I've always thought the parts that tickle you the most are probably parts that are gonna hurt the most,
Interesting.
Now, because I'm like, there's got to be a lot of nerve endings there.
Yeah.
Now, one of my cousins is going to school. Shout out Sammy. He's going to school for neuro. I don't know what it's called, but like some kind of neuro mapping. Like, so pretty much he's the guy that hooks all the electrodes up to your brain and all that shit before you do a major like brain surgery or something. Like, he's like an imaging kind of person, or I don't know. But anyways. He learned in school that you feel the most pain in the areas that you're ticklish in.
Wow, and I'm ticklish.
Yeah. And I tattooed this surgery tech one time, and they were telling us if you are on your period, they will reschedule your surgery because you feel more pain, you bleed more, you swell more. So if you're PMSing or you're somewhere or you're on your period, your tattoo's probably going to be more painful. So if you're a period haver, you might want to take that into consideration when...
Back to the having meat or, it being on the bone hurting more. I wouldn't say it hurts more. It's definitely a different sensation than it would be on somewhere that is in a fatter part of your body.
Mm-hmm. I have a client like this, which I already am sure you're going to guess who, can get tattooed on the tip of their fucking nose without even wincing and be like, oh yeah, that was spicy.
I hate those people.
And those people always wonder, like, is it mind over matter? Like, are you that good at like meditation or disassociation, or do some people just feel pain more than others?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because I've never been able to fall asleep. I've never
There's
been
no
able
way
to.
I could do that.
And when I was getting my back done, I used to drink like those medicated lemonades, the weed lemonades. And those are like, maybe it's not a lot to some people, but they're like 100 milligrams each, which is a ton to me. And I still never fucking fell asleep.
You can't donate blood after getting a tattoo. Only partially true. In most states, like California, you can donate immediately if your tattoo was done at a licensed shop. If not, you might have to wait 3 to 12 months depending on location and blood bank rules. So that's nothing I personally knew until this. So it's good to know and it's good to share. And that comes from just the risk of getting an unsanitary...
STIs or STDs, or bloodborne pathogens, I guess, in this case. This is a good one. Tattoos get infected if you don't use ointment constantly, which is so wrong, you guys.
Yeah.
Now I put Tegaderm or Second Skin on my clients, but so often do we see people that just slather fucking ointment on their tattoo like it's schmear on a bagel, and that
sounds so good right now.
and that is doing the opposite. You should be putting so little if you're using ointment that whatever you put on and rub in, if you took a paper towel and wiped it off, whatever's left is
that's what you need.
Good till your next application.
Yeah.
Think of it more as chapstick and not as cream cheese.
And also think about the indigenous tribes and different cultures. They didn't have these things.
Mm-hmm.
I've tattooed somebody that was heavily tattooed from Hawaii, and I remember giving him the whole spiel, like, you're going to need to use ointment, you're going to need to do this. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm not going to do that.
He embarrassed you.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not going to do that. And I am personally going to go swimming tomorrow in the ocean because that's just what my people do.
Do you know if he was Hawaiian or was he like was he Tongan or Samoan? Or?
Not Samoan. I'm not exactly sure which, but he was born and raised there.
Just because I had asked, I've heard that too. And I had asked the guys that I worked with out there, and they said no, that they don't suggest that.
Yeah.
But there's so many Polynesian cultures and so many of them reside in Hawaii. So I wonder if where that comes from. And I also wonder if it's maybe not the best in our dirty ass beaches.
Yeah.
Ocean water aside, tattooers are not going to like this, but there are so many people that dry heal their tattoos.
Yeah. For a long time before I started using Sanaderm, dude.
Oh, same. I got lazier and lazier.
And it came from being lazy. And I mean, not to suggest it or like advise anybody to do it. As long as you're keeping it clean, like just don't be a fucking idiot.
Cleanliness is the most important, but the only reason I would say that moisture is important is because you don't want your tattoo to crack or the scab to rip, because there are times where you wake up from a nap or something and straighten your fucking scabbed up tattoo and you're like, like it just looks like a fucking gash.
And to all the haters on the second skin, particularly the ones that have never tried it, dude, like why just swallow your fucking pride.
It's bomb, dude.
It is the shit. Like, and it's so nice to see older artists with the old school mentality, like accepting it for what it is, and it's a great advancement for tattooing.
If you've previously tried it and had an allergy, you might be able to use it now because there's so many that are hypoallergenic.
Yeah.
So my sister is in the Navy. She's a hospital corpsman. Shout out Asia. If you guys ever want to see me get fucking ripped to shreds by someone, Asia should actually come on the show because she'll fucking hand me my ass. She was a wound care specialist for a while, and she told me that Tegaderm, Sanoderm, whatever have you, it was actually made for burn victims. So what it is essentially a synthetic skin that goes on top of your skin so that and it's not medicated, which is a common misconception, that it's letting your body use its own plasma and white blood cells to heal itself as it would post-scabbing. But y'all should try it, man. And if your tattooer doesn't use it, you should buy your own because it's life-changing.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be posting soon about a roll of this film that I got from a company.
Not a fucking sponsorship.
Yeah. But
send him
it's
a
amazing.
second one and you'll get a real post. Get a shout out on the show. Send me some. This one, it came up as a myth, but I don't think it's a myth.
Go.
You can't get tattooed if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. Now, I have been raised, and in California, our tattoo consent forms, you have to state that you are not pregnant or breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I don't know why this came up written this way.
That it's a myth?
Yeah, it came up that it's not true, but it said something about there not being laws against it, but I think that probably depends where you're at. And my sister, again, said the reason why is because should you get an infection, you may have to get on an antibiotic that is not safe for your baby. So it's more precautionary. And the reason it's on our waivers is because your insurance company or our insurance company is not going to cover, like, if somebody wanted to sue you for that. Like, if they told you, hey, I'm breastfeeding, and you're like, let's do it anyways. Now, pregnancy, I don't know if this is true. We should have maybe busted this myth. But don't you remember they used to say, the reason you can't get tattooed when you're pregnant is because your baby could go into shock?
I was just gonna say that. I was always basing it off of which now feels like an old wives' tale.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say that with an accent.
An old wives' tale.
But yeah, they feel what you feel, and the trauma is bad for the pregnancy itself.
I would assume so.
And maybe this is an educated guess. I don't know if I've ever read this or was told this, but it could also induce an early labor because of the contractions that you go through.
I would imagine.
The stress of getting tattooed.
I think it's true because the amount of stress that I am under when I get tattooed and the way I act, there is no way that there should be a person growing inside me when I'm
yeah, you're contracting.
Yeah. People faint.
Yeah.
And there will be people that are fully tattooed, never fainted, one time something, whatever, the stars align, they end up passing
there's a
out.
whole lot of risk.
I don't think it's safe for pregnant girls to faint.
This one kind of feels like the same as the last one, right?
No.
No? Okay. Certain colors won't stick on certain people.
And I'm going to tell you why it's different.
Tell me why it's different.
Because I hate when people come in and they're like, hey, can you please not use the color, any color? Could you please not use pink on me? Because I got pink on this tattoo and it didn't stay. And my whole thing is, I'm going to get that shit to fucking stay.
I knew you were going to say
Let my saturation get it up in them guts. Because your last tattoo artist didn't have it like me. Now.
Yeah, I've encountered that a lot. I won't say it the way she did with the confidence. But yeah, like you see somebody get a tattoo and it's missing some colors, but then you see the tattoo itself and it's like, that's just fucked up, homie.
Yeah, they just didn't put their fucking back into it. Now, there are, of course, exceptions and these are rare. Some people think they have allergies to inks when they don't. But there are people that have, one of our friends that we know is allergic to anything with the with a green dye or anything like that, to the point where even after he got that allergy test, he ended up forgetting and he got a green tattoo and it bubbled up. I think it healed fine, but there have been times where people have allergies and it lost some color.
Yeah.
So there's those. So don't fucking come at me. But probably I'm gonna fucking get that shit to stay. And probably take into consideration who you went to and who you're going to. It's not really a thing that colors just don't stick to certain people.
Yeah, I would believe it a little bit more if you went to somebody that was reputable and it's like...
Sometimes it's hard to see when you're doing a lighter color because the blood's coming out at the same time. So, like, you could be doing, like, a lime green and the red of the blood is making it look canceled out so you think it's not going in. This is, like, a younger artist problem.
I remember dealing with that.
Yeah, so you keep working it in. Then it scabs up so much that it just falls out. And some artists will try to put it onto the client and be like, oh, it just must not work for your skin.
Yeah.
Because they either don't know or they're trying to, like, play it off. But... It's often an application error, and we learn that the longer you tattoo or you've been fucking up at. All right. Well, I guess we can always get back to this because I think that Mr. Jimmy Jam, my bud, has an original cover-up story, which we haven't had in a minute. This is the tattoo cover-up segment. It's a segment where we tell embarrassing, regrettable, scandalous, whatever stories. And James has one for you right now.
In this case, it's embarrassing. Okay, so everybody has... I feel like everybody that I know personally, you, me, Jake here, has dealt with some stomach problems in the past.
Not me.
If you guys remember one of the early... which episode? My Upstate Poo York episode?
I think the second or first even.
That was okay. Maybe it to some degree might not be as embarrassing as that one, but I will say this one was fucking scarier, dude. I did a convention in Vegas, the Viva Las Vegas Tattoo Convention, and I had
shout out Miguel, let me on your show.
I had the busiest like couple months at that time. I had to like tattoo there for 12 hours a day, drive home to make rehearsal to play some shows that were coming up that week. Anyway, so me and my girlfriend made the mistake of going to White Castle on the way home, and it was
Kumar. Why would you do him like that?
Yeah, it was the White Castle like at right before Prim, State Line, and I felt fine. Well, actually, no, I didn't say I wouldn't say I felt fine. Like it kind of felt like it sat a little wrong, and it was just like kind of like a little queasy, if you will. And so by the time we get to fucking down the Grapevine,
which is how many hours have you been in the car?
El Cajon Pass. It was like 3.5 hours or so.
So down the Cajon Pass.
Down the Cajon Pass, and I was
your
just like,
cojones were falling out of your body.
Feeling something, and then we finally get to the 605 from the 210.
Oh damn, you made it far.
And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna need to.
Shit.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to make it to Fullerton because that was what I was going to do. So my family knows that if I ever call and say the words Code Brown, they have to get the fuck out of the bathroom and they have to make sure that it's clear. So as soon as I pull up,
spoiled boy,
I like run straight to the bathroom. So I was like, hey, I told Lisa, I was like, hey, can you do me a favor and like text my family, just write the words Code Brown? And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, this is bad. So I was like, stepping on it and there was traffic and I was like, fuck, dude.
I just can't get over how ridiculous it is that you evacuate people from their own bathroom in a house you don't live in.
So we're going and then we're like between the 60 and the 10.
Oh,
what city is that? That's like maybe, anyway. So I was like, I look at, and I was driving and I look at, I was like, I'm not going to make it to Whittier. Like, I need to get off now. So I'm driving and I was like.
You still love me.
So I was like, I fucking like cut across all the lanes and I see a Del Taco like on the other side of it. I was like, fuck, dude. And I was at that point, I couldn't even sit. I was like standing in the car, like driving.
You're driving?
Yeah, and I was like fucking like trying to use the pedals while standing, and I was like, "This is bad. This is so bad." And we fucking finally get to the Del Taco.
And what's your girlfriend doing?
Nervous as shit.
Road dome.
Imagine. It's not good.
Get my mind off this. Get my mind off.
And so I like drive into the Del Taco parking lot, and I drive up to right as closest to the door as I can, and I fucking run, get to the door, and it's stuck. I was
No.
and I see that there's a sign and it says dining room closed from this location. And I was like, I turned to her. And then, so I was like yelling at her. I was like, you're going to need to get off and I need you to order something so they don't give me any shit for like going without, customers only. So she's like freaking out, like following me with all of her belongings, not knowing what to do. And she was prepared to order something.
With all her laboo-boos.
Yeah. And fucking it's locked. And I was like, this is it. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I'm not going to make it. I can't even get in the car. And I fucking look around and there was a corner in the parking lot. They have those like dumpsters and it's like the brick wall thing.
Yeah.
And there was a corner like on the side of it. And there was bushes along the side, along whatever. And I was like, I need you to go fucking block that corner. I'm going to try and walk over there. So I fucking walk all the way over there. And so there's like I don't know how to describe this with my hands, but there's this little corner.
Doesn't matter at this
point.
point.
And I had her like park the car. So it's created a little triangle. And I opened up the back door and the passenger door. And I was like, and the funny thing is like, she was like being as helpful as possible. My fucking reaction, like with all of it, I was just being an asshole to her. Get the fuck out of here. I was like, get out of here.
I bet.
So she had to like freak out and like run across the parking lot.
I'm a man. I should standing up.
I was like, leave. Save yourself.
Like Michael Jackson Thriller, like you're turning into the werewolf.
And I had no fucking choice but to fucking crouch and...
I feel like there's choices.
No, dude. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to fucking wipe. In my head, I was like, I'm going to figure out how to rip my boxers off. And
you lose a sock, I think.
Whatever. But thankfully, in the passenger seat with all of the White Castle trash, there was a stack of napkins.
You penguined your way over there.
Well, no, I was on the passenger side. Okay. So it was like everything was right there. And it like, dude, that was the first time in my life.
I think I know what Del Taco you're talking about too.
Yeah. The first time ever in life that I didn't make it to a bathroom. And I felt so embarrassed. And then there was a fucking car that was trying to get off to go to the dining area. And they realized too. And they realized that I was like doing some weird shit there. So they back out and they're like driving like super slow. And I'm like, God damn it. So I like crouched down even lower so they couldn't see my head. And Lisa was pacing around, smoking cigarettes, like not knowing what to do. Homeless people were trying to talk to her. Unhoused people were trying to talk to her. It was crazy too.
Listen, when you're shitting your pants, I think you're allowed to say homeless.
Okay. Thank you.
You're not offending nobody. You're the fucking loser in this situation. You're the underprivileged in this situation. Well,
yeah.
I don't think we need to unpack that anymore. Thanks for watching another episode of the Tattoo Budcast. I'm Sanaya Garcia.
I am Shitboy.
Again.
I am Jimmy Jam. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you at your next session. Yowza.
Yeah, so I shat in a parking lot, dude. Have you ever done that, Jake?
In front of your girlfriend.
We were on a trip up north, and he didn't make it. We were inside a minivan, and he shit.
In the van?
In the van.
Oh my God.
We were older, we were like 13.